I have another video on YouTube that shows you how you could use a machine lathe to shave your vac cylinders for recording purposes. Today I want to show you how you could actually cut down a dictaphone cylinder efficiently to be used on your Edison machine to record. I happen to have one of these lying around. It really is not worthwhile buying this for this purpose of cutting down, because I mean there are good sources. Have a look at the notes on my video. I'll give you a couple of sources for buying decent blanks in boxes and everything else. You really don't have to worry, but just in case you have a few of these lying around and you have no use for it, you could cut them down and use them as a regular recording cylinder on your cylinder machines. This is the mandrel, so basically when you compare the two together, you would notice that, yeah, the regular cylinder is just under 2 inches shorter than the dictaphone one. Actually, since I'm cutting this, I would like to make this as large as possible, so it will give me a slightly longer recording time or whatever. So I could obviously put this on my lathe and use a parting tool to slice about 1.5 inches off it. Then I'm gonna end up with a big segment of 1.5 inches of cylinder flopping around, so I need to take the mandrel off and you know, remove the debris. Or I could just basically machine this off, but I'm gonna have a lot of mess around. It's simpler and much more practical to use something like a bandsaw to cut this off. So just measuring, I have about, on the mandrel, I have about excess of 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut down 1.25 inches of this on the bandsaw, and then do the face or facing of it on the machine lathe. So basically, I'll just set this at 1.25 inches, so I have a guide. Just in case I had a couple of them to do, I don't need to worry. The height is good enough, or maybe not. Again, if you're doing this, wrap your cylinder on a piece of paper or use some sort of a carrier. Since I have a carrier, I call it a carrier, I'm gonna use this. The idea is not to push this, the surface of this on the bed. So this is a safer way of handling the situation. And make sure, double check and make sure you're cutting the right side of it off, because if you do the other side, you're gonna just waste this cylinder. So yes, I am cutting the correct side off. So here we go again. You know what? This is so clean, I don't even need to worry anymore about it. But obviously it's pretty long still. I need to get rid of some more. So then I'm gonna do this on the lathe and show it to you. Actually, I could have really cut off, instead of 1.25, I could have gone substantially more. I could have cut off 1.5 inches. No problem. Let's do it this way. Now I really don't have to change my cutting bit or tool because I can use the one that I use for shaving for this purpose. Good enough. Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry, turn it on first. I don't know whether we have a good view of what's happening here or not. No, let's hope. Yeah, I cut it too long. I should have taken off another 1/4 of an inch. But this is demonstrating how much debris I would have had if I was trying to cut up 1.5 inches or 1 3/4 inches on this machine. It's fun. Actually, you can take pretty aggressive cuts if you just feed it in slowly. Again, have a look at the note that I would have at the end of, not at the end, at you know, the detailed part of this video. I'll give you 2 leads as to where you can secure or buy, you know, blanks for recording. This is excellent. So since I'm here, I'm doing this, I might as well shave this cylinder off as well. If you've seen the other video, you may want to stop. You know, I'm gonna just one of the things you need to do is when you're shaving a cylinder, there's a lot of mess here. You need to find your 0 point, and basically you go on the on the extremes of the cylinder, or that's what I do because I'd like to be more efficient about it. And basically turn this machine on, feed it into, it's barely touching, and you can see it making some sort of a cut. That's where it is. I'm gonna call that my 0, adjust this indicator to 0. I'm gonna back off, I'm gonna come back to somewhere like middle of the cylinder. Do the same, feeding it very, very slowly and gently till I go to my 0 again and see whether it would, yeah, it is. So again, this is fine. I'm gonna go back a bit more, then I'm gonna go and test it to this end. The idea of doing this is basically you find the lowest 0 or the lowest point, 0 there, and that way you will ensure that your, you know, your first cut is also making this cylinder properly, because I mean these things do get deformed or whatever. So let's see what's happening on this end. Okay, now this is starting to cut quicker than my other 0 was. So yes, I really, you know, this end of it is slightly thicker. So I'm gonna go back to my 0, and this is a fairly clean surface here, so I'm just gonna cut maybe 3/1000 of an inch, and hopefully that will be the end of it, and you know, this is will be done. So I'm going to put it on auto feed and watch what's happening. Now the finish on this particular cylinder, this was a brand new one, it's unused. So this gives me an indication of what the standard finish was, and what we are getting now is much more superior. Not that it makes a lot of difference, because when you're recording you're cutting a groove anyway, but I have a much nicer finish now. And actually I'm going to be done with one passing. I may have been able to actually cut only 2/1000 of an inch, but that's nothing, it's okay. I really didn't want to make this video longer than necessary. You cannot probably see it, but this is like 1/4 of an inch out of the end of the mandrel, which is perfectly fine. You know, better for it to be too long than too short. Well, it's not, cannot be too long, because I mean, you know, it's gonna hit the side. If you have one of those earlier phonographs, it's gonna hit the closure. But I mean, this is fine. 1/4 of an inch protrusion is perfectly fine. There you are, we're done. Now I can go and record on this. Well, I can. There you are. It's ready to record on. Pretty cool. Thanks for watching. Hope it's informative for you guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.